Srimati Ramanuja Srimad Varaha Avatharam Ananthirudileshanam Mikkunatore Kulatore Viyurvorayidanam Akkanastenam Viravaravaare Mikkavol Karar Kodil Kandadi Annandinam Peralanai Adindave Cheerutra Sinjal Thiruvayamozhi Pillai Singhavamum Tharuttra Marvum Thalirai Padangalam Thanmanathu Urithu Vaazhum Manavalam Nippunadigal Paalil Thanitha Adiyen Sharan Endru Patrinane.
First question வந்து ராமசுவாமின்னு ஒருத்தர் கேட்டிருக்கார். பரம பாகவதரான அடியனின் திருப்பாட்டினார் கையில் மருதாணி இட்டிருப்பவரை அதன் வர்ணம் போகும் வரை தளிகை சமைக்க கூடாது என்பாராம். இதன் காரணம் பலரிடம் கேட்டும் தெரியவில்லை. மருதாணி வைப்பதே ஆச்சாரம் இல்லை எனில் இந்த காலத்தில் பலர் தலைமுடிக்கு வர்ணம் பூசிக்கொண்டு தளிகை சமைக்கிறார்களே. இவ்வாறு தலைமுடிக்கு வர்ணமிட்டு அதனுடன் சமைக்கும் தளிகை ஆச்சாரம் ஆகுமோ என்பது விளங்கவில்லை. அடியனின் அஜ்ஞானத்தை சமைத்து தெளிவு பெற பிரசாதிக்க பிரார்த்திக்கிறேன்.
இந்த காலத்துல ஆச்சாரம்னு பார்த்தா கேஸ் ஸ்டவ்வே ஆச்சாரம் கிடையாது. The question is, some people they put mehendi, right? So if you put mehendi and if you cook, it is not considered to be auspicious. It violates the austerity rules, is what has been told by a very great Bhagavattama to his grandson. So his question is, if that is the case, many people put mehendi for the hair color. So is it okay for them to cook? And my point is, when it comes to austerity today, it is almost very lean for the very fact that we are cooking in all steel utensils and gas stove and all those things. Whereas cooking is actually equivalent to yajna. It's a sacrifice oven. So you have to use only wood that is prescribed. Any wood that is cut from a tree that has some trees, when you cut it, actually the leaves will give you milk. So only those that lactate, those kind of tree woods are considered to be appropriate for using to be used for cooking. And we should use only clay pots, or at the bare minimum you have to go for brass vessels that have lead painted inside, things like that. Today everything is completely gone. So there is so much for us to consider, and given the circumstances we have to see what is possible, what is not, what is our level, and what is the next logical step. You can't jump the gun all the time and say that I'll leave everything one day and then suddenly get into the system. It just doesn't happen. In fact, today I was actually talking about one such instance where somebody said, I'm waiting for a miracle to happen to me. I said, that's not going to happen. Why not? Perumal will do some miracle. I said, if Perumal can do the miracle and change you, all of a sudden, he can do it for everybody. So it's just not going to happen. No, it happened for all of us. Exactly. It happened for all of us for a purpose, because he wanted all of us to make us understand that it doesn't happen for everybody, that we have to follow all of us. That's exactly why all of us are there. If we think we will also become all of us someday, we can wait for eons, or it might even happen someday. You never know, or it might not happen at all. So these kind of miracles and things changing overnight will not happen. It should be step by step. At the same time, the step cannot be like for ears or for birds. So it should be it's gradual, but it's not slow. These two are different. Gradual means it comes in that order, right? But at the same time, you have to pick up pace. So back to the question, whether it is okay to cook with hair colors and colors in the hand and all those things. I don't think this coloring of hand and all is there in our, particularly for men. I don't know. Even for women, actually, they do it generally. From what I know, they do it on the left hand. On the right hand, they don't do it. Today, things have changed, so we can't discuss anything based on what happens today. But it's if you technically, it's not correct. Technically, it's not correct. But it has nothing to do with hair color, because hair is not something that is involved in cooking. So when you're using hand, because you have to remember one thing. In those days, even in our Anantirumale, if you serve with any spoon, if you serve the rice with any spoon, they will shout. They say, that's not right. You have to serve only with your hands. Even if it is hot, you have to learn. You have to take only a little bit and then you have to serve only with your hand. That is because of one very great Vaibhavam that happened during Swami Nambillai's lifetime. So during Swami Nambillai's lifetime, I don't want to discuss much details, but I'll at a high level I'll explain because you can later dig into the details. It is given in Yatindra Pravana Prabhavam that at one point when prasadam was cooked for Swami Nambillai, he served it to his Thiruvaradhana Perumal. But the food was not actually, the person who cooked did not have Bhava Shuddhi. They did not have the right state of mind as that of Swami's expectation. So he served for the Perumal, but he said, I can't take this. So then his disciples, Shishyas asked, if you have served for Perumal, why can't you eat? Then he said, Perumal is Ulagamunda Peruvayam. He takes everything even during Pralayam. So he can skip certain things. I mean, he can take everything, but I cannot. I'm not like that. So what is the remedy for this? Then this is the beautiful thing that happened. He calls a person, one of his disciples, who is not a Trivarnika, that is, who does not have a Gyopavita, who does not belong to that particular Varna. His name is Jeeyar Dasar. But Swami Nambillai said, this person is the purest soul amongst this group. And he said, if he touches the food, it gets purified. Look at the beauty. If he touches the food, it gets purified. So he used to ask him to purify it by his touch. Yaganu Yagottara Vidigalile, Kayana Sthala Shuddhi Panina, Vriddhacharam Arivarkire, Janma Utkarsha Apakarshangal Terivatu. Swami Nambillai did Anna Shuddhi with the touch of Jeeyar Dasar, who belonged to the fourth Varna. This is a documented incident, documented truth. That means the reason why it should be touched is because if there was any lack of Bhava Shuddhi while cooking, if it is cooked by somebody, even with a touch, it will get cleansed. So typically you have to use your hand. Even in Periyakovil, Talige and all, you can't use some wooden spoons and all to mix. You have to use your hands. You have to pour a lot of ghee, dip your hands in your ghee, and then you have to use your hands to mix, even if it is hot. That's the tradition. So in that case, if you are having some this kind of mehendi colors and all those things, that will definitely have some impact. And remember, mehendi is good for external application. I don't think it makes any sense to take it in unless somebody says it is an aushadha. But again, when it comes to pure sattvic food, it is definitely not something acceptable. So for hands, they should be clean. Whether it is in the hair or not, that is irrelevant. Just before.
Next question on the questions on Sri Varaha Avathram. In English, there are multiple questions. So I'll read one at a time. Varaha Avatar illustrations show Bhumi Tayar being lifted out of the ocean, but oceans are a part of Bhumi. How would we understand Perumal receiving Tayar? Was Hiranyaksha larger than even Bhumi? The question from children, actually.
Okay, I will answer. I will start answering this because I know where it is going. Earth is actually the surface of the earth is not even. It's it's a huge pit. Earth is a huge pit because 2/3 of Earth is ocean. And what is ocean? Ocean is nothing but pit, which is filled with water. Only 1/3 is land. So 1/3 is land. The 2/3 is actually pit. Now, do you think whether this 1/3 of land, the top portion, can be pushed inside the pit or not? It can be easily pushed inside the pit, so that the height of this land will get reduced, right? So what do? You push it, the land rolls. So the land is rolled into the water. Then what happens? Water rises up and comes and fills up the land. So the whole earth is now filled with water. The land has been pushed inside ocean. Land has been pushed, rolled and pushed inside the ocean. That's what they say. He rolled it as a mat. Paya churuti kadalla potta thanni kadika. That's what happened. Right? Now the whole earth is not fit for living at all. So what was the purpose? First we need to understand what is the purpose. The purpose is that the devas, right? They can maintain their power only if they get the right food through ahuti, through sacrifices. So all these brahmanas, where are they? They are on earth. We think that the devas are actually giving us something, but actually speaking, we are the one who are actually feeding them. When brahmanas are not doing their sacrifices properly using ahuti, right from Agni, all the devatas, they start becoming weak, because of which they curse, they are unhappy, because of which so many perils happen in the society. These are only for those who believe the Vedic system, right? So all the perils pretty much today in the society are only because of brahmanas not doing their proper karmas. And to be honest, people like me are shameless. It's okay. No big deal. That's not right. We are meant for that. When you are not doing your job, then the repercussions are always there. So the society depends on certain blessings or benedictions from the supra species. And they, in turn, actually they get their food only through these sacrifices. So in order to weaken the devas, the first place that all these rakshasas will attack is only earth. Where the rishis, brahmanas are there, they will attack and make sure that they don't perform any havan and all these things. Now what this guy did, he made the whole earth fit for not living at all. But he maintained some highlands. He maintained some highlands where he resided. Right? Now actually if you see the way the earth is actually designed, it's beautiful. The whole thing was restored only by Sri Varaha Swamy. When he came, he doesn't have to stand on earth, actually speaking. He was a massive form. Varaha was really huge. He was actually, literally he was in space when he actually took the earth on his, horn. But before that, first he landed on the earth, and with his horn, he was actually one horn. Many people think Varaha has two horns. It's not two horns. Those two are actually teeth. It's called as Jeeyar. He had only single horn. Ekashringaya Namaha. His name is Ekashringa. Varaha's name is Ekashringa. Ashtotra and Sahasranama. He is Ekashringa. It comes in Sri Ramayana also. Like rhinoceros. He's a wild boar, like rhinoceros having single horn. So with this horn, he started digging out the land back. After destroying Hiranyaksha, he started digging out the earth from the marsh. Because earth was full of water. The whole sand was marsh, muddy. It was not fit for anybody to live. He started. The first place where he hit, where he touched Bhuma Devi with his horn, was known as Mushnam. That is Sri Mushnam. That is Muttam, they say in Tamil. Muttinadu, Muttam, they say. In Sanskrit, it is known as Mushnam, Sri Mushnam. That was the first touch of Varaha. With his horn, he started digging out. Then he started creating mountains. He started creating mountains. And then he created a beautiful inclined landscape until that pit of ocean. So the water actually becomes vapor, it becomes cloud. When it goes near the mountains, it will cool down, it will pour as rain, and the water will go up to the ocean as a river. The whole architecture was done by Varaha. And then because all this landscape, everything was messed up, the earth was actually wobbling. So he went to space, created an axis. He created an axis and he restored the spin of the earth with 24 hours of daily cycle, which is known as the rotation, and 365 days and 8 hours and so minutes for the revolution in an elliptical orbit. This whole thing was done by Varaha, and there were many Varaha avatars. The Kalpa in which we are, this is known as Shweta Varaha Kalpa, because he was the one who restored. Shweta Varaha is white Varaha. Right? So now you see, he digging out and keeping Mother Earth on his horn. Everything makes sense. That the Rakshasa rolled the whole land and put it inside the ocean makes sense. Wherever they say Bhumi, Bhumi can be interpreted as Bhumi Prati or the whole earth or the surface of the land. So everything should be understood in the context.
So again, has two follow-up questions from
Yeah.
I think then we should actually consider entire Bhumi as Adivara Kshetra. This Adiyan's interpretation, right?
Adi Varaha Kshetra, see, anything becomes a Varaha Kshetra only by the Sankalpa of Varaha, not because, see, if you say like that, the whole universe is Varaha Kshetra, the whole universe is Emberuman Kshetra, right? So, where he personally felt, this is my, see, Perumal, why Perumal has only 106 Divya Desams on earth? When he actually measured all the three worlds with his feet, everything is Trivikramas, he owns. Still, he has decided that only in these places he will have Avirbhavam. Those are all Bhogya Sthanam for him on Bhuma Devi. On Bhuma Devi, he has certain Bhogya Sthanams. You can't ask why. Why only in India? We can't ask. That is, see, he is creator. He will do what he wants. Just because we are in India, it doesn't mean he did only for us. And remember, we can't choose where we want to be born. So it is not like only Indians are great. It's not like that. This place is liked by him. We are lucky to be born here. But don't say that others are unlucky, because you didn't choose to be born here. In next birth you might be thrown away. In another birth they might come here. So you never know. So instead, do what makes sense. As you are born here, we were born to maintain or save our heritage, our tradition, our lineage, right? Our customs, our culture. That's what is more important. Now, there are multiple places where they say this Varaha this Mushnam, similar to Mushnam, they say different Varaha Kshetras. That is because there are so many Varaha avatars that has happened. You need to remember. For example, they say this Gajendra Moksha has happened in multiple places. Jatayu Moksham, they say it has happened in multiple places. Rudra, he got his Kabala Moksha. That Kabbalah that was in his hand got cleared by the grace of Perumal. But it has happened in many Divyadesams. Pindiyar Mandayendi, Pirar Manai Thirizandurno, Undiya Jamam Tinda Uruvanur, Ulagametum Kandiyur, Arangam, Tiruvarangam, Meyyam, Kachi, Per, Tiruperagar, Mallai. How can it happen in 6 places? It is different Rudra. Remember, Rudra is a Jiva who has got that post. The highest post is Brahma, next highest is Rudra. So once this Rudra is gone, next another person who has made that much of penance, tapas, and who wanted to become Rudra, he will be given an opportunity. So different Rudras would have had this Kabal Moksham in different Divya Desams. The thing is, they have options, but within that option only they can go around. Right?
Yeah. Swamy, additional follow-up question, Swamy. I think this came also when during Swamy's discussion on Ahankaram and Mamakaram last time.
Yeah.
We talk about different Varahas. Many times Varaha Murti has come. Many times Rama has come, for example. We talk about many Rudras. Is it just progression in time, or is it also different form of Srishti? Like, what is the nature of Srishti? I'm trying to understand that, basically. Is it like over multiple cycles, the same thing is just getting destroyed and recreated, and Varaha Swami is getting reincarnated, or is it parallelly going on at the same time? I'm just trying to understand.
It could be both, actually. It's known as simultaneity. That right now there could be n number of Varaha Avatarams in n number of galaxies, Andams for that matter. Andam is actually universe. That's why there is a concept called as multiverse. This is one Andam. One Andam means egg. So it's a spherical creation for which a Brahma is a head. Like this, so many Andams, one is getting created now, another one might be getting destroyed, another one would have just matured. This is similar to fig. In the fig tree, the flower might be coming up. In another branch, a flower would have become a raw fig. In another branch, the flower would have become a raw fig, which would have become a fig fruit. In another branch, the fruit would be falling. Like this, so many figs are there, right? All these figs are like these universes. That's what Shastras say. And Perumal is casually creating this, destroying this, sustaining this, creating so many Brahmas. Each and every fig has, that's why we don't eat fig actually. Srivaishnavas should not eat fig. Fig has a dosha. Yeah, there is one small insect that can penetrate inside the fig. This is a small insect that actually penetrates inside the fig. That is the one that will do the pollination actually, and it actually dies inside. And then it is completely cleaned up by the juices that is secreted by the fig, and we don't even know that such an insect actually went inside and it died. Science is revealing that. In our Ahara Nema, they said that do not eat fig because it has this kind of thing. And Swami Nambillai in Eid, he starts with a statement saying, Attikayil Aruman Pole. Aruman is actually Kosu, that is an insect. In every fig, there will be this Aruman, the small insect. So who is he comparing to? He is saying this fig is this universe and this small mosquito, that insect, is the Brahma. And Perumal is the fig tree who is just creating so many andams on one side and destroying, and then another one is maturing into the raw fig and then the fruit, then it dies. It goes on. So simultaneously, in so many andams, the same avataram could happen. A similar kalachakra might be happening. Some discussion might be happening. Here itself, at different point in times, it will be repeated in cycles. Some cycles might be similar. Some cycles might be identical. Some cycles might be at an outline, they might be somewhat look-alike. So these are all beyond our imagination. Beyond our imagination. Only by knowing these things we will know who is God. Because without understanding who is God, simply saying God can do anything and everything, we used to discuss a lot. I used to say a very funny thing that, somebody was sitting actually next to me. Did you know? And they'll say, no, we didn't see. Then I used to say, what if somebody was sitting there till now? And then suddenly, Sarva Shakti, Supreme can do anything. He just pulled that person out. And up to Brahma, he made everybody forget that person. His Sarva Shakti, he can do it, right? Then my question was, think of how many such plays he could have been doing around us. We have no idea what is going on around us. So whatever he has made you to realize as truth is what you can realize as truth. Otherwise, you have no idea what Sarva Shakti can do. Once you say Sarva Shakti, he can do anything. But if you say that, then he is totally unpredictable. It is clueless for us to do anything at all. Nothing is in our control. So the other side of Perumal is he is very perfect. He is very ordered. You look at the creation, you look at sun, then you look at the earth, the way in which it goes around, it rotates around its own axis. Look at the cycles of the months. In Dhanurdasa it is cold, in Chaitra Masa it is hot, in the rainy season the rain comes, and the way the trees and the plants they bloom. Look at the humans, for male children they start getting the mustache at that particular age. Everything happens in a particular order. There's so much of control and order. If a person is somebody who can do anything and everything, that is his capability. Remember, that is his capability, that he can do anything and everything. Does he do that? He doesn't do that. Otherwise, if we say, leave everything and come to me, sarvadharman paritijya mamekam sharanam vraja. Aham tva sarvapapebhyo mokshayishyami ma shucha. I'll relieve you of all your sins. Then when you go there, if he says, what? You said, leave everything and come, I came. Yeah, I told that time, I won't do it, get lost. He says, what do you do? No, Perumal will not do. Why not? He is capable. Nobody can question him. You start, thinking him as somebody who is all capable, Sarva Shakti, and a Swatantra, not answerable to anyone. Nobody can question him. With just these two, you will start getting scared. Then comes all the other kalyana gunas, saying that he has discipline, ruju, arjavam. He says something, he will abide by that. He follows the rules. He has created the rules, he himself follows that. He comes repeatedly and he demonstrates that as Rama and Krishna and all. So, because once you start seeing the Parathvam, you will start fearing. Enough. All those people who claim that we have done Prapatindal, we have not even a scintillation of the idea about his Paratva. Once you know what he is, then you will start getting scared that you are gone. You are gone. Then comes all those things, Ramo, Durna, Vibhashate, Rama, you don't have two tongues. If you say something, you will follow it. Please, you can't do this to me. See, otherwise there is no grip, right? He can do whatever he wants and he is capable of doing it. He's a Swatantra and he's a Sarva Shakti. He can create a Brahma, create him with 4 heads and suddenly pull 1 head. He will allow Brahma to create earth and then suddenly he can destroy the earth. This is what he is doing. He is capable. And nobody can question him if he does that also. But that is to show what he is. Can't play with him. He knows everything. Sarvagya. He is present everywhere. He is Sarvantariyam. He is omniscient. He is omnipresent and he is omnipotent. He knows everything, he is everywhere, and he can do anything and everything. Despite all these things, he is so organized. He is so organized. Think about it. We are all just part of his creation. Remove all this creation and keep everything black. He is only one. During Pralaya, he is only one. We are all inside his throne. Now, just one single person, all by himself. He is doing this creation, sustenance, and destruction. Look at how organized he should be. And nobody is there to question. And he is all alone. Why he needs to be doing things in a structured fashion? That's why we keep saying all the unstructured, all the ill attributes belong only to us, who are inside the creation. Outside the creation is pure. Is filled with beautiful, marvelous, and sensible attributes. A person who is so organized, so perfect. What he does is what is actually called as perfect. Whatever we do is totally nonsense. What he does is perfect. That is why Alvars they say, don't think that all these kalyana gunas are there with him, because of which we are doing bhakti to him. Only because the gunas are with him, we call it as kalyana gunas. Alvars says. Whatever is associated with Perumal is what is kalyana. Whatever is, that is mangala. Whatever is associated with people like me is what is amangala. That is the definition. So same guna, for example, you are having your object somewhere, and somebody is trying to steal it. You become angry. Hey, don't touch it. You become angry, right? You are having anger. Why? Because you are selfish. Swartha. It is yours. You are thinking you are owning it. When you die, you are leaving your body itself. But you say, it is mine. Now look at the other dimension of anger. A small kid is trying to go and touch the fire. Say, hey, don't touch it. It's still again going near. You become angry. The first case also, you become angry when somebody touches something. The second case also, you become angry when somebody touches something. But in the second case, it's out of concern. In the first case, it is out of ego, arrogance. So, anger is a guna. Anger is a guna. But the intention defines whether it is mangala or amangala. Now, Perumal's intentions are always pure. Whatever guna we have, all those gunas Perumal also has. We call somebody as a murderer. But Perumal also comes and slices the head with Sudarshana Chakra. We don't call him a murderer. Because when he does that, they get moksha. That is release. When we do the same murder, we get the opposite. We are in jail. We don't get release. When Perumal does, from the jail, the jiva gets released. When we do similar thing, out of ill intention, we actually get the jail. Exactly opposite, right? Now going back to your question, that these things can happen, right? So good that you are started this question, because unless we understand Parathvam and do anusandhana of that, we have to keep doing anusandhana, that is contemplation and research of this Parathvam. How huge, how big. You have to think of, that's why astronomy helps a lot. Astronomy really helps a lot, because it will tell you what is this universe all about. Of course, they say that they are having some Hubble telescope, seeing something, saying that galaxy, this is red giant. Who knows what is the truth? With some spectral analysis, all it's all highest degree of speculation, more or less. But something at least that is better than all other things. So all these 27 nakshatras and all those things. There's beetle juices through Arudra, right? Arudra nakshatra. Like that, so many, all those things, our rishis and all, they're sitting here, they have defined everything in astrology. When you start thinking about bigger things, then you will think that, this creation is beyond our imagination. Beyond. And despite all those things, we still find that this creator is so close to us. For some reason. What is that? How is that I am even able to think about him? It means that he is trying to communicate. So what is going on? What is between me and this creator who is so huge? And I am exactly opposite. I am smallest. I am Atma, a dot, just residing here. And there are zillions and zillions of such Atmas. Just in our gut, we have 40-50 million bacteria. In a pin tip, you have millions of bacteria. That which we cannot even see, he has created them. He has given a body for them. He has given a life for them. He has defined a life cycle for them. Eat, sleep, reproduce. My goodness. And we say all these things as out of some accident, some Darwin theory. Come on, please. Big Bang. Please. Let's come out of all this illusion of so-called science. Science is full of theories. It's all based on observations and nothing else. Earth was created this many million years ago. Really? Really? That's a speculation. That's how it should have been. How much of your speculation? How much are you speculating? Tell me the percentage. It will be 99%. But the way they will tell is 99% I think we are correct. Just that 1% we are not able to crack. It's all full of, you are just observing what is happening in the world and you are saying this is as per physics. What is physics? This is the law. What is that law? You have observed that. Okay, you have observed that this is happening. Now, who made that happen? You are saying gravity. Who created gravity? No, any two bodies, in the universe, they'll suddenly go to the universe. You are inside the earth. You have not gone anywhere outside of earth. Your Mars theory and moon theory as well. Everybody, it's a mockery, we all know. You can't even do anything with your small corona, that bacteria. You're talking about some, shifting and buying some plot in, Mars and building some apartments. Come on, let's come back from the jokes. Let's be serious. Okay, those are all movies, right? Let's come to reality. All your Mars theories, Jupiter theories. Mars, for that matter, actually was created from Earth. He is known as Bhauma, Bhumi's Putra. So some definitely astronomical event has happened. Earth was bigger than what we have seen, and Mars was pushed out. So definitely Mars has a lot of content. That of Earth. This was told by our system long back. He is known as Bhauma. The Vasaram is known as Bhaumya Vasara. Right? Mars is having Earth's properties. Really? No, only you found it. We are saying he is the son of Earth, which means he was created out of this, due to some astronomical event. Right? So Saturn came. Saturn is actually son of Sun, SUN. They are yet to find it. Saturn, the planet, actually came out of the sun. We know it long back. Right? So once you start doing this anusandhana of this great thing, we'll start knowing that all this science and all. Seriously, good that you are observing, you're documenting, and you have your own technology development. And everything you are doing only based on what has been allowed by somebody, what has been created by somebody. I created electricity. Really? Who made the electrons to move? Electrons are always moving. How? That's what we could find. In cathode ray tube experiment, that is what we found. Okay. So who made the electrons move? Electromotive force. Why electrons are moving? Why protons are not moving? If it is already moving, and if you have a magnet, if you have a copper wire around that, start changing the poles of the magnet, then the electricity gets produced. All fine. These are all observations. You didn't create electricity. The facility was inside. You didn't create the magnet. The first magnet was not created by you. It was natural magnet. Then you started creating it. Everything was given to you. Who gave it? Now it all started from the building blocks, hydrogen, and then oxygen, some nitrogen. Suddenly some lightning came. Then some blue-green algae came. Come on. Where did hydrogen come from? Where did nitrogen come from? No, that was already there. God cannot exist. So who created God? Who created hydrogen and nitrogen first? You also have your theory, right? Who created? Then speculation. Some black hole. What is black hole? Who created black hole? You can, the same nonsense questions that you are asking against our system can be asked against the science. And you also have absolutely no idea. You are speculating all the things. Everything is speculation. But Earth was created, the top surface was created so many million years ago, the inner surface, the innermost. You have not really understood what is inside Earth. You are only speculating. You have seen lava, magma. Anything deeper inside to that? With some rays and this thing, and you're speculating every way. It's okay. See, but our people, we think science is truth. Science is what everything. Whatever scientists say is truth. Whatever scientists say is not truth. You have to remember that. What they say is a result of some experiment. It is an observation. It is an observation of certain event that has happened in a particular environment, in a particular circumstance. Period. That's not an eternal truth. It's a proton, it's a neutron, then you break it, then positron, then you break it, nano, then you break it, boson's particle, God particle. You can keep breaking it and it will keep opening. New things will come. All these things we have boxed it in Tattvatrayam. Tattvatrayam clearly explains what are all the 24 types of materials in the whole universe and how everything starts from Mula Prakriti. Then the Ahankara, the Mahan, the Manas, the 5 elements, Panchabhuta, Tanmatra, the Karmendriyas, the Jnanendriyas, right? How the whole creation happens with Panchikarana Nyaya. What a beauty and structure, how logical it is. These are all, we don't accept. Only if we see, we will accept. Pratyaksha Pramana, because scientists, they are Charvakas. If you are a Charvaka, then you should maintain your limit. But they are speculating that our current sun is actually going through red giant phase, something, or it is going to become a red giant very soon. How do you know? Because we know some other star, some blah 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 blah. The sun that is right in front of you, you are telling something about that based on some other stories from somewhere. Based on sun, you can tell about some other star. With your some spectral analysis, you don't even know whether it was some illusion that was created because of some other waves which were passing in between. You have no idea what is happening in the universe. Come on, right? And think about it. It's the thing that you cannot see with your own eyes. A corona. It froze the whole earth. Right? That's all it takes for Perumal to do. He'll do like this and then everything freezes. And he doesn't have to put effort. All that he'll do is he'll just inject that inside your own stomach. You yourself, because of your lack of discipline. You only will spread it to everybody. Your human race, you will collapse only because of your indiscipline. He won't use any special missile, this, that. It's so easy for him to deal with. To make you remember that he's there. He can do anything and everything. Right? So it is important for us to come out of this so-called science illusion. Science is great. This technology is great. Use it. That's okay. But that is only for simple material usage. Instead of walking, then you got cycle, then you have got bike. Let us stop with that. Let's not meddle with creation. What is inside the atom and the nano? Then you are playing around with so many things. You don't know what are the things that, what are the perils that will come because of your, misadventures. That dimension is very dangerous dimension of science. You develop technology, sensible technologies. Those are allowed in the framework, right? I know I always use an opportunity of these questions, right, to tell so many other things. It's high time that we start understanding the greatness of our system. Our system is beautiful. It's so sad that many Westerners have come here and they have grabbed it. And because of their inability to cope with the austerity, right, the piety, and the disciplined way of learning, they have managed to somehow learn it at the surface and started interpreting and started publishing things without any guidance. And unfortunately, that is what is being seen as our system by the whole world. We ourselves say that, no, as per the so-called Max Muller, this is what this Veda mantra means. Come on, what Max Muller will know about a Veda mantra that was revealed by a rishi who has done so much of penance? Where did Max Muller do penance? You cannot be a grammarian to understand Vedas. You cannot be a great expert in Vyakarana. You cannot be a Sanskrit scholar. If you know Sanskrit, you cannot say Vedas are in Sanskrit, so I will know the meaning of it. You cannot. It is hermeneutics, the study of interpretation. It is not that easy. It's not that easy. I keep saying the same thing. Sahasra Sirusha Purushaha. Sahasraksha Sahasrapad. That's what is the Purusha Sukta. Vedeshu Paurusham Suktam. In Vedas, Purusha Sukta is number one. Dharma Shastreshu Manavam. In Dharma Shastras, the most authentic is Manu. Many people think Manusmriti is for now. For Kali Yuga, it is only Parashara Smriti. It's not Manusmriti. Manusmriti was for Krita Yuga. But that is the most authentic when it comes to Pramana. Bharate Bhagavad Gita. In Mahabharatam, Bhagavad Gita is the thing that is worth. Puranishu cha Vaishnava. In all the Puranas, number one is Vishnu Purana. So in Vedas, the number one thing is Purusha Sukta. In the Purusha Sukta, look at the first few lines. Sahasra Sirusha Purushaha Sahasraksha Sahasrapad. The Purusha is having 1,000 heads and 1,000 eyes. Sanskrit scholar comes. Sahasra means 1,000 heads and 1,000 eyes. Then a small child from Vedic system says, so our God has only one eye per head. No, I didn't mean like that. You said Sahasra means 1,000. Sahasra Sirisha Purusha Sahasraksha Sahasrapad. So he has one leg and one eye per head. Is that how you define? No. Sahasra means infinite. Then another kid comes and asks, infinite? What will a person do with infinite heads and infinite legs, and where will he sit and where will he stand? Why he needs so many legs? Then he doesn't need to walk. We can stun these so-called people. The thing is, we are not spending our time. We are always behind our, what is the next loan that we have to take? What is the next house we will buy? Next car, next phone, next laptop, next our children. They will also go for education loan, car loan, wedding loan. This is all we are into. Forget about the cycles of Varaha. Our cycles are bigger. And the same, when we do the same thing, we don't question. When Varaha does, why Varaha has to do the same thing again and again? What are you doing? You are doing the same thing. I will study, my son will also study, I will take loan, he will also take loan, I will buy a house, he will buy a house. Tell me something new. The body that has been given to us is to help us to reach out to the next levels. Not sitting and observing everything and keep on doing mobile, turning on and off Thomas Alva Edison, again and again telling the same old story. Come on. Telephone was invented by, mobile was invented by. Who created all this 3G, 4G? Who created those spectrums? Who created that? Who allowed it to happen? We invented car. Really? You see this huge ball of called as Earth? Who put petrol for that to go around 365 days with such a precision, without a small pause? One small pause is sufficient to collapse all the infrastructure on the surface of the earth due to inertia and the oceans to come inside. Just a small break and then move is sufficient. You are gone. A serious pause with 3-4 times, we are wiped off. The ocean will come and say hello. There will be nobody to tell the hello back. They'll be gone. Who created it? So that is what our system is. We try to understand the creator. They want to prove there is no creator. They want to disprove the creator. We are not here to prove the creator. We are here to understand, because it is such a sense, basic sense, that if we ourselves can develop these technologies, think of all the things that are happening around us. Definitely there should be an intellectual of highest order to have created this. It cannot happen all of a sudden. This has been created all of a sudden. In all your technologies, this is what somebody will say in the future, that when human race is wiped off or something like that, they'll say, you know what, some big bang happened and suddenly cell phones came into existence. Or they'll say the cell phone, it took about 3 million years to evolve. They automatically got evolved and they started communicating. Come on. So it's high time that our generations start coming out of all these things, get into the system. At the same time, the biggest challenge with our system is, on the other side, there are a lot of empty boxes or vessels, and there's a lot of noise. We have to remember that on one side we are telling the Westerners that have you gone through the penance and all those things. On this side, we have also lost all those methodologies. We don't do penance. We don't have this concept of celibacy, brahmacharya, satyavrata, right? Vairagya. Nothing is there. So these are the things that should come back. That's the message I would like to share. Sorry, I have taken too much of your time. I don't want to really comment on this seriously, because these are very contextual, very clear on that, and there is an applicability for that. These are not applicable for prapannas, for who are of highest order, right? This blue color, black color, this color, Perumal doesn't like. These are not for prapannas. So it is probably for people of for beginners, and I trust that our audience is primarily, right, who have undergone Pancha Samskar, the basic are almost there. So let's not waste our time on this. Yes, women in their monthly cycles have to stay away from any kind of worship. That is ritualistic worship. In mind, they can meditate, that is different. But because the physical body, as per Shastras, from a spiritual angle only, from a spiritual angle, it is not something that is anukulya, that supports any kind of spiritual exercises, except for mind-based exercise. Physical exercises, mind is different, physical body is different. So physical body, when you do, if the physical body is contaminated or if it has its own blemishes, then physical work should not be done. So mentally they can sit and meditate. They can do anusandhanam in the mind, but they should not go to temples. That's what is there in the Shastra. If they are maintaining the distance, that is, generally the women should be in a different place or a different room altogether for those 5 days, or depending upon this thing. That's what it is. But it is not possible for many people to maintain that. That is why they say, then if that is the case, don't do it. But generally, in Srivaishnava Sampradhayam, we are very clear that we maintain it, and our women are very much knowledgeable about this, and they are always in a separate room, and hence most of our people, they go and worship. The first step is to understand what is moksha. That is the first step they have to take. Then only, see, that's what we say. Somebody is asking, how shall I go? Shall I go by flight or by train or by bus? Then the question is, where do you want to go? No, you tell me first. Shall I go by flight? Train, what is the best mode? You tell me where you want to go. I want to go to the next street. You can go by walk. Unless you fix your destination, we should not be talking about what are the steps. So what is moksha first? Purushartham. What is it? What is moksha? Why do we need moksha? So what is troubling you here now? These are the questions we should ask ourselves. What is it that is troubling us now? Nothing is troubling us. We are happy. We are making a lot of money. We are having a luxurious life. All that we want is our next generation. We want to reproduce, pass on the gene, and help them to get settled. That's it. And then I'm ready to leave. Don't talk about moksha. You are happy here. But someday or other, when you are born, somewhere, and right from the beginning, you are beaten up left, right, and center. You ask me, what did I do? You have done a lot of things. How do I get out of this? Where do you want to go? No, I don't want to go anywhere, but I want to be happy here. Try again. Again, some more time. Again, you get beaten up. Now you realize that by being here, I can never be happy always. Good. You got it. So what do you want to do now? You want to get out of this place. You want to get out? What do you want? I want to be happy. How long? Always. Yes, there is a place for that. You can always be happy. That place is known as moksha. A place where you can be eternal without being born again, without being given a body, and without dying, without getting the cycle repeated again and again and again. Different bodies, birth, eat, reproduce, sleep, die. Get out of this. It's an eternal place where you get only one sharira. You can permanently be happy. You want it? Yes, I want it. Are you sure you want it? Or just because you are right now in some turmoil that you want a temporary relief? If it's a temporary relief, you'll be given a chance again to be born. The day when you realize that this is it, I know that this is going to repeat. I know this is going to haunt me. No matter what I do, I cannot be happy always. No matter what happens, I cannot exist with whatever body has been given forever. This body will be gone, I'll get a new body, my memory will be wiped off, it will be a fresh life for various reasons, and nothing is in my control. I don't choose whom to be, for whom I should be born. I cannot choose where I should be born. I cannot choose whether I should be a male or female. I have no choice. When I have no choice, I have to operate with whatever has been given to me. I'm lucky now that everything is working. What if my eyes are not working and I'm born in another birth? If my ears are not working, what if my hands are not working or hands are not even there? Why? Why me? The question comes, if you understand that this is what is the design of this world, this is what we call as karmic cycle. If you understand, and if you really want to get out of that, and if you're very serious, let's talk. Then we're talking about moksha. Once you know what is moksha, and once you are clear that this is what you want, you are very clear that this is what you want, then there are steps very clearly. That is what is the Pancha Samskara, then the Sharanagati, and then knowing more and more Rahasya Granthas, maintaining the respective code of conduct, what is known as Anushtana for both Upaya and for Upeya, and then get a permanent relief from the cycle of the birth and the death, called as the karma. So the karmic cycle can be completely got ridden off. Right? So first we need to understand all of this. Without that, will I get moksha? What should I do to get moksha? This is like saying, will we go to Mars? If we book with that organization that says that in next 10 years we'll be going to Mars, so let us buy a plot there. It's like some myth. That's why people mock at us. They're talking moksha, Vaikuntha, all these things. What is this nonsense? So many births. There are no births. That's what the scientist says. We don't have bodies. We are bodies. Charvaka. They don't believe in the concept of soul, Atma. They don't believe in the concept of Supreme Soul, Paramatma. They don't understand what is the relationship between these two. Right? So get into the system. The day when you feel that you really want to get out of the system, this cycle of birth and death, when you really feel deep inside that there's fundamentally something wrong in our expectation, we are always failing, no matter what you do. No matter what you do, you are failing every day. And everybody is going through this. But they have some hope. Somewhere they think that they will attain something here itself. It's just not possible. Forget about you. Brahma, who has the longest age, longest life, even his life is temporary. Once he is gone, somebody else will replace this thing. He'll be out of job. The present Brahma is praying Perumal, Emberuman, that kindly ensure that the next Brahma post is given to me only, not to somebody else. He's praying that. That is that state of even that person. He wants that job to be permanent. It is not possible. Let us accept the fact that the whole samsara is temporary. It is temporal. Temporary means it's not as temporary as what we think. It's temporal in its own context. It's huge. The cycle is huge, very big, but still it is temporal. Right? So when somebody is very serious about this thing, when you know that this is not a permanent place for us, there is some other place. When it occurs deep inside your heart, trust me, somebody will knock your door. You don't have to go anywhere. Somebody will knock your door because you are already ready for your departure. They will knock your door. Somebody will come and talk to you suddenly about this. You will start understanding everything. You don't have to do anything really. Because Perumal is actually waiting for somebody to understand about this. The moment you understand this, and the moment you are ready to get rid of this place, he is already showering his grace. He will send you somebody, who will guide you, who will handhold you, take you. Definitely. Or who will send you. Right?
Adiyan Swamy. Bhagavatammas, anybody is there? Please feel free to unmute if you have any questions. Feel free to ask.
That's a good question. Controlling your mind is known as Shama Guna. Controlling your senses is known as Dhamma Guna. Once a person gets this Shama and Dhamma Guna, that is when the person is actually eligible for Panchasamskara. Which is not happening today. Controlling the mind and the five senses. See, when it comes to five senses, you can stay away. That is somewhat reasonably possible. But what do you do with the mind? Ahara Shuddhau Sattva Shuddhi. First thing that you have to immediately correct is Ahara. Food, Sattvic food. What is Sattvic food? Sattvic food is not merely just taking the recommended vegetables and types of, food materials. It is also about who prepared it, who served it, who produced those, how it was served to the Lord. There are so many factors that impact. Sattvika food means, for example, cow's milk is sattvika. Cow's milk is sattvika. But we don't consider the milk of all these Jersey cows and all those things as part of our sattvic food because of various reasons. One is the cow should have only eaten grass, pure grazing. Only if you allow the cow to graze and if you take that milk, that is what is sattvic milk. If you give all these things that we are giving, then the sattvic nature gets diluted. Right? The same cow's milk immediately after its delivery of the calf, it is not recommended to be consumed. So there are so many things like this. Similarly, who cooked it? What did the person think? Did he do anusandhanam of some tirupave or anything or dvayam when he cooked? Or was he thinking about his family problems while cooking? So many things happen. So merely saying that I took pure cow milk, pure jaggery and only desi vegetables will give some basic level of sattvika guna. But more than that, it is jati, ashraya and nimitta. tushtas, that is defects, have to be removed. Once you correct the ahara, satvika ahara, next is satvika chintana. You should be contemplating only about the charitras of satvikas. Guru Parampara Prabhavam are satvika charitrams like Prahlada Charitram, Narada Charitram. That is satvika chintana. That is why all these Puranams, Itihasas, they are all given. When you are alone, you should engage yourself only in reading these things. If you are with somebody else, it should be satvika sangha. It should not be like when is the election, who is the prime minister, chief minister, all these things, what is happening. If you are talking about all these things, then forget it. You should be having a sangha where you can discuss about all the satvika charitrams and other bodhayanta paraspara, exchange of wisdom, knowledge. Satvika devata vandanam. Satvika devata vandanam is worshipping only our Guru Parampara is satvika devata vandanam. Simply worshipping Perumal and all is not satvika devata vandanam. Because, for example, Perumal's Dashavatara is there, but in the Dashavatara, Parashurama Avatara, we should not worship. We should not worship Parashurama. Those who want to go to Moksha, they should not worship Parashurama. Parashurama can be worshipped. We mumukshus should not worship Parashurama. We should not say that Parashurama is not fit for worship. Parashurama can be worshipped by others. Parashurama, Dhanvantri, Kartikeya Arjuna, Arjuna, all these are amshams of Mahavishnu, but they are not to be worshipped for mumukshus. Even Perumal's form, just because it is Perumal's incarnation, we cannot worship. So for us, Satvika Devata is only right from Periya Perumal till Varavara Muni. It is only Guru Parampara we have to worship, not other Devatas at all. Many people do Dhanvantri Homam, Mrityunjaya Homam. That's not for us. So Satvika Ahara, Satvika Chintana, Satvika Sangha, Satvika Devata Vandana. Satvika Ahara, what you eat, what you eat, it starts impacting the mind. Satvika Chintana, then your mind you engage it with all Satvika Charitrams because your food will start supporting it. Instead of controlling the thoughts, you divert the thoughts towards good things. Instead of stopping everything and then starting something afresh, instead of doing the wrong thing, do the right thing. Anyway, your mind is always engaged. Engage it in the right thing. And when you are trying to associate yourself with others, only choose Satvika Sangha. And when you want to do physical worship and other things, do Satvika Devata Vandana. And above all of this, go and spend. Go and sit under an Acharya who can completely help you to create an environment, will always engage you with only these kind of things, who will guide you on this Satvika Ahara. We need to create these kind of environments. These environments are grossly lacking. If today somebody says, can I go to somebody who will allow me to stay with that person for 1 year? Where he will provide me Satvika Ahara, who will engage me with Satvika Chintana, where he will, help me to understand all these texts and help me contemplate. Will he give a Satvika Sangha? Like other people who are there with me, will there be other people? And Satvika Devata Vandana. And will they always be doing only the Tiruvaradhana of this Guru Parampara? Do we have such an environment where I can go and I can spend for say 2 years, 6 months? Do we have? I don't think we have. Well, that is what we are trying to create. We want to create one such environment in Salagrama. Let us see, with Emberuman's grace, if we can create that. Here Acharya will be Emberuman and we will be facilitators. Nobody other than Emberuman is Acharyas in this environment. Emberuman directly, his lotus feet is here. This is the only temple in the entire universe where Emberuman is directly present. He is the only person who is directly present. He is the only person who is directly engaged with Satvika Sangha. He is the only person who is directly engaged with Satvika Devata. He is the only person who is directly engaged with Satvika Sangha. Emberuman's lotus feet is the Moolasthana, Garbhagraha. There's no other Vigraha in the entire temple, including Perumal, Tayar, Garudan, Dwarapalaka. Nobody is there. Only Emberuman's lotus feet. And this was directly installed. The Pratishtha was done right by the hands of Swamy Vadaganambi. The Saligrama is actually Swamy Vadaganambi's Avatara Sthalam. Go and search in Wikipedia for Saligrama. It will say Saligrama was founded by Sri Ramanujacharya because the name was given by Sri Ramanujacharya. In Wikipedia it is there. You can go and search. Saligrama was founded by Sri Ramanujacharya. It is the Avatara Sthalam. It was known as Mithilapuri before. Avatara Sthalam of Swamy Vadaganambi. The only temple in the universe where you can worship Emberuman's lotus feet. In all other place, he'll be sitting in Padmasana because his Swami is Yati. You cannot have complete darshan of his lotus feet. And even if somebody has installed the lotus feet of Emberuman or somewhere else, not like this, because this was directly installed by the holy hands of Swamy Vadaganambi. That's the kind of place it is. So we are trying to create an environment where people can come, spend 6 months, no cost. We should not ask them money. Come here. If you are so interested, you are welcome. Satvika Ahara should be provided. Libraries, books in different languages to help them choose their language, guide them towards all these things. Create an environment where other like-minded people are also there. Right? We'll see. The firm determination can be developed only by associating yourself with those who have that firm belief. Because they have the one who has a firm belief will definitely have some foundation. If they don't have foundation, by talking to them, you can easily find out whether they have blind belief or true belief. It's very easy to find out. Within few questions, you can figure it out. So, search for a person who has this crystal clear clarity on how to get moksha in a very systematic way, in a flawless fashion. Right? Once you find that person, associate yourself fully. Again, go back to the response to the question on what is moksha first. You need to understand. Simply saying that is it possible for me to get moksha in this birth? Just see the other side. God is Sarva Shakti. He can do anything. If he can do anything, can't he give moksha in this birth? Answer is yes. So he can give birth, he can give moksha not just in this birth. Now itself he can give. So what is stopping him from doing it? Something that we are doing against our nature. So once we understand what is moksha and other things, associate with somebody who has that staunch faith, not blind faith. To identify staunch faith, ask a lot of questions. They should be able to give you convincing answers. They should not say, no, this is what is told by Emberuman, this is what is told by our Purvacharyas. Purvacharyas do not say that this is told and we have to believe. They will give explanation for everything. That is why they have Rasya Granthas. They themselves speculate every question. They have answered everything in a very exhaustive fashion, in a preemptive way, so that if you go through the Kalashavam, you will not find time to question, because the questions would have been already asked. They would have answered it. How to behave is a very broad question. I need clarity on what that person is actually expecting in terms of how to behave. To put it in a short and sweet sentence, if you see Srivaishnavas, you have to keep them in par. You have to keep them in par with Acharyas. which means you have to respect them so much. அவர்களை ஆச்சாரிய துல்லியர் என்று நினைக்க வேண்டும். But again the question is, what kind of Sri Vaishnavas? Are they Satkara Yogyar, Sahavasa Yogyar, Sadanubhava Yogyar? Are you a Bhagavata? Do you have good guna? You are also doing all other things. People will start getting into this kind of investigation. So the best way is to stay as Sri Vaishnava, respect them, speak very humbly, offer them whatever you can in terms of place to stay, food to eat, any monetary support you can do, anything of that sort. Vastra, honor, right? All those things you give, and ensure you don't hurt them by any means. By asking silly and stupid questions like, what is your caste? Right from the Janma Nirupanam, Vasana Nirupanam, Akara Nirupanam. You should never say, if you want to refer to some Sri Vaishnava, you should not say, that Sri Vaishnava who is black, right? Who was short, right? You should not say this kind of thing. That fat Vaishnava who was there in the temple, you should not say that. Akara Nirupanam. So all vasthu apacharas. Then how do I refer? Get to know their Dasya Nama. And always use that Nama, saying that this particular Ramanuja Swamy, Srinivasacharya Swamy, like that, get to know the name and mention the name. If somebody says how to identify, go and ask for this name. You have to tell. You should not say, you can easily identify, he will be very big. His one eye will be squint. This is all you should not say. He will be black, he will be bald. These are all the worst things. And with Sri Vaishnavas, you should not be talking about Laukika. Think, hey, what happened to your, sister-in-law, son-in-law, or your daughter? How is your son's job? These things and all you should not discuss with Sri Vaishnavas. You should only discuss about Atma Vishaya. Answer for that is Guru Parampara, Prabhavam, Arayana.
Swamy, where is that book available, Swamy?
That's a good question. I'll get back. Because it's out of publications. It was published by Puttur Swamy. Guru Parampara, Prabhavam, Arayana, scanned PDF is available in internet. I saw it is very much floating around. The version that was before Puttur Swamy's publication, that is available in internet. But we can check with some few publishers. See, when we do Thiruvaradhanam for our Perumal, he is actually our Perumal. He is our family person. He is actually our child. We see him like us. So, if you are feeling it cold, he will also feel it cold. So, the way you treat yourself, you can treat him. For example, when they do Thirumanjanam for Emberuman, Maniyakara Swamy will actually check whether the water is... Actually, Emberuman takes bath only in warm or hot water. It doesn't take bath in cold water that easily. Except for the Tirthavari. For Tirthavari, Emberuman never goes. It's only the Tirtha Emberuman who goes. But Emberuman always takes... The water is actually boiled from the Thirumadapalli and it goes in a pot. And that will be poured. And he'll check. And he'll say if the water is not hot enough or something like that, he'll say pour more hot water. So, Perumal is he's part of our family. So feel free to help him with cold water in the summer and hot water in the winter. Enjoy.
Same thing goes for Srivaishnava and Sandhya Vandanam.
Generally, we should not be doing, actually, this we should not do it in tap waters. Because this argument, they should be done with pure water, because you are offering it to the deities. And you see in the country that in which people are living, all this water is pumped using chemicals actually. So these are all chemical based waters. They are not even fit to be used for argyam. You should use only ground based water, to be honest. But that's okay. The fact that you are trying to maintain it even there is to be appreciated, in which case it is okay. But technically, if you ask, no. Argyam is actually offering what you offer matters a lot. It should be pure. Typically well water or river water. So it's not about cold or hot. It's more of material that you're using. There itself is a challenge. So I know you keep praying that you get to do these things in the right environment. But until then, in whatever environment you are, how much ever it permits, you do it. Vasthu is a shastra. It is there. Is it applicable for Sri Vaishnavas? No. Period. Homams are done by Kevala Vaidikas. Vaidikas. We are Parama Vaidikas. Naduvil Trivedi Bhatter said when Pillai Vanamamali Dasar went inside his Thirumalige before Gruhapravesam, he said Gruhapravesam is done. Gruhapravesam, when you do, what you have to do is you have to ward off all the evils. That's the purpose. Ward off all the evils. What do you do? Bring Sri Vaishnavas, Bhagavatottamas. Do the corresponding Parayanam. Ramanuja Nutandadi, Aruliche. Once you start reciting Thiruvaimozhi, wherever Thiruvaimozhi is recited, Emberuman comes there. That's what Ramanuja Nutandadi says. Unandaminyanigal Yogandarum, Thiruvaimozhiyin Manandarum, Innisai Mannum Idandarum. Mamalaral Puranda Ponmarvan Purundum Padidurum Pukkunirkum Kunandigal Kundal. He'll come running and he'll be the first to be there in Thiruvaimozhi Goshti when you recite Thiruvaimozhi. So bring the entire Guru Parampara by bringing Sri Vaishnavas. What more you want? It doesn't mean we should not do homam. Homams are done. Punya Vachanam is done. But today, under the name of homam, there are a lot of wrong things like Ganapati Puja, Navagraha Puja, this Puja, that Puja. Those things are not at all there. There's no Navagraha Puja in Vedas. There is no Navagraha Homam in Vedas. You have to be very, very clear. We can have a debate. If somebody is challenging, we can challenge. We can ask them to give Pramana. So, and then if they say Pramana, whether we have to be very clear whether it is an interpolation, or additions, extra fittings, all those things. Learned Vedic scholars, they know that whatever they call as today Ganapati Puja or the Navagraha Puja that they do in typical Gruhapravesam, these are all not there before. These are recent additions. It is not there. Punya Vachanam is there. Punya Vachanam is there. You can do some Vishwashanti Homam or typically Sudarshana Homam. These are all the homams recommended to ward off evils. Vasthu Homam and Sri Vaishnavas do not. Navagraha Homam and Ganapati Homam is not even there in Vedas. Let's be very clear on that. Vasthu Homam we don't do. Typically, those who follows the Vedas as well as Sri Vaishnava Paddhati. That is, Sri Vaishnava means our foundation is Vedas. So, for that, we have to organize three things typically. Typically, in a Gruhapravesam, we have to organize three things. Right? Number one is Veda Parayanam. Achidram and Ashwamedham. Parayanam is the one that will ward off all the evils. That is why that is recited for Perumal also when he goes into Vidi Purport. Achidram and Ashwamedha Parayanam should be done. Second, Sri Vishnu Sahasranama Parayanam is typically done. Again, what I am talking about is one level below from the Paramikanti Nishtha. If you this Paramikanti Nishtha, all that you have to do is just bring a very qualified Sri Vaishnava and say that is more than sufficient. For those who cannot do, one level below Achidram Ashwamedha. for Veda Parayana, respecting the Vedas. Sri Vishnu Sahasranama, Artha Vishannaha, Shitilascha Ditaha, Goreshita Vyadishu Vartamanaha, Sankirtya Narayana Shabdamatram Vimukta Dukkha Sukhino Bhavantu. Right? And the third thing is Bhagavata Dadi Aradhana. Invite Bhagavatas, do Dadi Aradhana. And when you say Dadi Aradhana, not only food, Vastra, Sambhavana, get there, Ashi. And when you do Bhagavata Dadi Aradhana itself, Bhagavata means by character, not by caste and all. Brahmin, non-Brahmin and all. No. Srivaishnava, Bhagavata, all are one only. By character, who are very humble, who follow the Srivaishnava tenets. Not only in thought and talk, but in practice. Let them do Arulachel Parayana, like Koil Thiruvaimozhi, Tirupavai Tirupalli, Tirupalani Tirupalli, Tirupavai, Avalanthigaran Convention, Tambu Koil Thiruvaimozhi, Ramanuja Undakari, Udesathamali, let them do the Parayana, Prasadam, Vastram, Sambhavana, all those things. These three will fix everything.
మీ తిరువాడికి దాసోహం స్వామి అడిగి స్వామి గోపికలు కాత్యాయని వ్రతాన్ని చేస్తారు కదా స్వామి. అంటే స్వామి వాళ్ళకి కృష్ణుడు ఉండంగా ఎందుకు స్వామి వాళ్ళు కాత్యాయని వ్రతాన్ని చేస్తారు?
అది వారు అలవటం అంతే.
అంటే స్వామి వారు ప్రపన్నులే కదా స్వామి.
వారు ప్రపన్నులు అని ఎవరు చెప్పారు? పెరుమాళ్ వారికి వారి పైన ఇష్టం. వారు ప్రపన్న నిష్ఠలో ఉండినవారు అని ఎవరు చెప్పలేదే. వారు గురు పరంపర, పట్టి సంస్కారం ఇవన్నీ అయిపోయింది వారికి. పెరుమాళ్ వారికి పైన చాలా ఇష్టం. వారికి ఇష్టం అంటే ఇష్టం పెరుమాళ్ వారికి. పెరుమాళ్ ఎవరిని సెలెక్ట్ చేశారో వారు మంచివారు మనకి అంతే. కానీ వారు వర్ణంలో ఉంటున్న పారంపర్య అలవటాలు అదన్నీ వారు ఫాలో చేస్తారు. దాంట్లో ఏమి ప్రాబ్లం లేదు. కానీ వారు చేస్తున్నది ఏ ప్రయోజనం దానికి అని చూడాలి. ఆ ప్రయోజనం పెరుమాళ్ వారు దొరకటానికంటే ఏమైనా చేయొచ్చు. లక్ష్యమే మనకి ఇంపార్టెంట్. పెరుమాళ్ కావాలి అంటే ఏమైనా చేయొచ్చు. కానీ ఇప్పుడు ఒకరు సుదర్శన హోమం చేస్తారు. సుదర్శన హోమం వైష్ణవ హోమం. కానీ ఎందుకు చేస్తారంటే నాకు పెద్ద ఒక మంత్రి పదవి కావాలి అని చేస్తారంటే ఆ లక్ష్యమే తప్పు కదా. అందుకే దేనికోసం చేస్తారు ఇంటెన్షన్ అదే చాలా ఇంపార్టెంట్. ఐ టెల్ ఇట్ ఇన్ ఇంగ్లీష్. She was asking that gopikas, they were doing Kathyayani vratham. How can they do when they had Krishna himself? Then the response is in multiple steps. One is, first of all, Krishna was interested in gopis. He has selected them. So it is not that they were all prapannas like Alvars. They did not undergo Pancha Samskaram and they did not recite Guru Parampara. So they followed their Varnashrama. Yadavas were Vaishyas basically. Yadava caste it belongs to the Vaishya Varna. Point number 2, why did they do that vratham? To get Krishna. So to get Krishna you can do anything. There is nothing wrong. If somebody is reciting Arulachel to get very good progenies, Vaitanan Makkalai Petru Magilvare. It's really funny because Arulachel is meant for moksha. These people want to get some good progenies. So reciting Arulachel but for getting progenies is bad. Doing Kathyayana vratham for getting Krishna is good. You have to see the prayojana. What is their intent? Somehow they want Krishna. That's all. That is the way they knew it. If somebody else, if Emberuman was there, he would have guided them in a better way. Emberuman was not there. That is the Samadhana.
అంటే భగవంతుడి చేత వారు ప్రేమించబడ్డారు కాబట్టి స్వామి, ఆండాళమ్మ వారిని ఇన్స్పిరేషన్ గా తీసుకుని వ్రతం తిరుపాయి వ్రతం చేశారా స్వామి? సరే స్వామి.
ఇక్కడ కూడా ఆండాళమ్మ వారు దేనికి చేశారు అని చూస్తే అందరికీ పెరుమాళ దొరకాలి అని దానికోసం చేశారు కదా. సో ఇట్ ఈస్ వెరీ మచ్ యాక్సెప్టబుల్. అది ప్రేమ భావంతో చేస్తారు. ప్రేమ భావంలో చేస్తున్న వారు వారికి విధి అన్ని కంట్రోల్ చేయదు వారిని.
అంటే స్వామి ప్రేమ భావంతో చేసేవారు ప్రపన్నులు కానప్పటికీ, సమాశ్రయణ పరులు కాకపోయినప్పటికీ కూడా మనం వారి దారిలో నడవచ్చా స్వామి?
చేయొచ్చు 100%. బట్ ఆ ప్రేమ భావం నిజంగా ఎంత ప్యూర్ అంటే మనకే తెలియదు. నేనే ఒక ప్రేమ భావం అంటే, ప్రేమ భావం అంటే ఎలా ఉండాలంటే ఎప్పుడు చూస్తే ఆ ప్రేమ భావంలోనే ఉండాలి. కానీ మేము ఆఫీస్ వస్తాము, లౌకికంగా అన్ని చేస్తాము, కానీ ఎప్పుడో ఒకప్పుడు పెరుమాళే అని ప్రేమ భావం వస్తుందంటే అది ప్రేమ భావం కాదు. భక్తి అంటే కళ్ళలో నీకు వస్తుంది, అది భక్తి కాదు. భక్తి అంటే భక్తి దానికి డెఫినేషనే వేరే, ప్యూర్ మంగళాశాసనం.
అర్థమైంది స్వామి. అడిగిన దాసు.
సో భక్తి భావం is something that is often misused by people. They say we have bhakti, that is more than enough. We have no idea about what is bhakti. Bhakti ante కేవల భక్తి కాదు, జ్ఞాన పరిపాక రూపమైన భక్తి అని చెప్తారు. సో ఇది హైయెస్ట్ లెవెల్ ఆఫ్ భక్తి. ఇన్ దట్ ఆ భక్తి స్థితిలో ఏమో ఒకటి చెయ్యాలి అని చేస్తున్నది దాన్ని. కానీ మేము అందరం మనకు కూడా ప్రేమ భావం ఉంది అని చెప్తే, ఎప్పుడు చూస్తే అనన్యాశ్చింతయంతో మాం ఏ జనం పర్యుపాసతే.
అర్థమైంది స్వామి.